Alright. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to more Great Ace Attorney. We are going to pick up where we left off, where we're going to get more witnesses on the stand, and yeah, we'll find out what's going to happen with the whole teleportation thing and whatnot. Miss Naruhodo, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My basic hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that. But you promised me! You said you proved that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder. You said you'd keep my precious adventure from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me! Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I just run through some equations. Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being! Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject, what about Baroque? He's being awful! Claiming his own university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being! Oh, but no, wait! He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore. But that's cleared up. You know, it really is weird. It really is weird just having me alone with the client. No court assistant to bounce things off with. It's definitely a unique courtroom dynamic, right? Like, this hasn't happened in any other previous case, has it? We've always had someone on the bench with us to, to play the whole manzai routine. We need to have the bouquet and the sugoni, but now it's just us. Can I double check something with you? Yes. What? Machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved. I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor, I understand. Concho, defendant! The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way to the courtroom, please. Who's it gonna be? It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is as sound as it claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? I mean, end of the day, like, the role of the defense lawyer, we have a moral obligation to provide the best legal defense for him. We're not obligated to protect his secrets, we're just obligated to defend him from the murder charge. So, in reality, he wouldn't really have much room to complain about how we're going about it. In as much as we have to respect our client's wishes, but if he's undermining his own case, then, I have to speak up against it. The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Benzies, the religious witnesses saw the demonstration of the day in question with their own eyes. Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect. A detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration of the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, Counselor. The prosecution's position is clear. Sir, bring forth your witnesses in now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident of the day in question to clarify the truth unequivocally. Is one of them Lestrade? But, I mean, she's not actually a detective yet. She's just a detective in training. But it's her, isn't she? She said she saw it. Oh, it's not. Okay, never mind. Oh wait, no, there she is. What's if the masks? Huh. Weird characters. Witnesses, state your names, occupations for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Lund. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in the vicinity of the experimental stage. Ah. Bal Lund. I get it. German. Okay. Is the first guy French? He seems a little French. Okay. This little kid is German. Gott. He's Bulgarian. Well, okay. Close enough. I don't know how to do a Bulgarian accent. Actually, I'm not even that confident in the German accent, but whatever. My name is Wilhelm Gottfried Sigmund Oldstein. I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. Wait, he's a little boy, right? I'm very rich! Inspector General Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition. I got to go up in one of them balloons. It's amazing! Gina. Again. But she did mention that she'd seen the results from up in a balloon actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage where the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet. Very low. You can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya? 60 feet. About 18 meters then. I'm juggling way too many accents. I'm gonna screw them all up. Is this racist? Probably not. What? Thank you for the introduction. Are you giving further testimony for the court? I understand exactly what you witness, especially those here the one who's right about the stage. On the other hand, my judge voice is definitely ageist. Hehe. It was an oh boy. It was an incident terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's a huge bang from the stage, and in the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone, and crashed into the crystal tower. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions. More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around. Here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the Crystal Tower. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blouse was so hot, but I didn't want to be succinct, so I kept my eyes wide. He's gonna keep paying for more balloons because he keeps letting him go, huh? That's his gimmick. I still had lots of money. That's a roundabout way of saying, who is this sassy lost child? I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition. Ah, I'm here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? When I removed my glasses, this is what I look like. Yeah, everybody says so. Great disguise then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts of the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Aspen on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder. Yes, my lord. Okay, let's see.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. See. All 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini. They are very popular, Signor. Some people would pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got it there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know? The taxes have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons though? Because, if I have too many in the skies, they could crash into each other. The operators of the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See, and the zone of a public experimentation stage is the most profitable. It's the other impresiados, they hate me. Perhaps I could hear more about what you actually witnessed at the incident. Right, I can feel you in there, my lord.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Yep, ain't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Ardo, being a lawyer is a mug game. We should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway. Could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything. We saw everything because we were up above it all. Had the dodgy cove climb into the cage and the dodgy professor pulling all them levers. That's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared. Just like that. I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang, right in me. I looked around and there was this huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. There was nothing there before. What did he say?
Excuse me.
I don't actually know what he said. Master Gods, does your memory of the day differ? Main teacher at elementary school says that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. Yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigmund Ornstein. Just the four names then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? Oi! Get it right, Otto! It's Inspector Lestrade! Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? Yeah, she's insisting on it, huh? It's for brand recognition. We gotta align with the Holmes canon. That is not what I saw. Oh. Ja. There was a second explosion and it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure. Which is what I said, innit? 1 minute there was nothing there, the next a massive explosion. Main teacher at elementary school said that when somebody else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon. Eh, you what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are you? Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. This is a cordial Bohemia. It was not the skies that exploded, it was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. Well, that explains this, yes. Excuse me, chat, I had to clear my throat.
Hold it!
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian Prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior. Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Madai! Have you have the army come and shoot all your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them! Anyway, could I have another? Here you are, your highness. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peace and relations have been restored here at the courtroom, perhaps you could return to the testimony. We should also see the moment that the cage materialized in this balloon. No, I did not see the explosion in myself. However, the cage had fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
Hold it!
Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grande confusion around the stage. I ran to see what happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. The So it's time into the tower. After all, I am a detective now. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear. Bless her. She's so into it.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Eh? Use your ear, Otto. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So because I weren't available, it was the boss that had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It's a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing! Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. Prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. Two exposures would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Well, we've pressed everybody. Let's review the evidence real quick. So, our little bohemian prince here is claiming that there was a balloon here. Is that it? Right? Because that's the one that's near the Crystal Tower. He's claiming that it was around here. But that means, where did we get this? Where did we get the sketch from, by the way? That's the. Yeah. Gina gave us this, and this was the submission by Heaven, right? But I don't think these balloons are meant to be part of the exhibit, like part of the experiment setup necessarily. They're probably just there for background stuff. So the fact that a balloon is missing here isn't necessarily proof that, you know, like that's not the contradiction we're looking for, I don't think. Because I don't think he specifically planned for these two balloons to be part of the sketch. Or like part of the experiment, right? It's not like the experiment is requiring that these two balloons are here, so the absence of the third balloon doesn't necessarily mean anything. Although, the fact that this diagram isn't the same as what Baroque showed us. Yeah, I guess it's a little different there. We haven't examined this thing yet, have we? Ah, there's some sort of lever here. Oh, it's a crossbow. What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. Folding crossbow. It looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force into this device then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. Ugh. I really had no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's a sort of bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. It's not a... it's a real gun. Magnets! In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyoto archery training. It looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before, but applying Mr. Sherman's methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. So I can hazard a guess. It's pretty obvious that this is a part of the balloon, and that a balloon existed at some point, and that was what was exploded. And there's a chance that this was used to shoot that, although not fully clear. Alternatively, that could have been the murder weapon. That could have been what actually shot me. Yeah, okay. I don't think I have any evidence yet, so
Hold it!
maybe I gotta press again. I think we pressed every statement already. Or maybe because the new dialogue has been added, then
Hold it!
something new showed up. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. And what appears out of the flames? The cage, that's what. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But that's the 20th century for you, I reckon. For the people who actually saw the demonstration with your own eyes, really believe they saw something miraculous taking place.
Hold it!
Flying balloons never explode for the same reason planets never explode.
Hold it! Hold it!
Okay, so it's not a pressing. Our angle is to claim that the victim was never on the stage to begin with. This was actually a bit of a trickier one. I'm actually unsure what statement I'm supposed to present something on. The only thing I can think of is maybe presenting like the diagram, since it seems to contradict what Baroque said, you know. The only thing is I'm not sure if the I'm not sure if this diagram is meant to be an accurate representation of what the airspace around the area is supposed to look like, you know? But it's the only lead I've got at the moment, so...
Objection!
That was not it. Okay. Thing is, I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Are we supposed to present this? Since this looks like an indication that a balloon was damaged.
Objection!
Okay, that was it. Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosion, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Ah, I think it may be. See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry, the envelope? Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want to rip when you are in the sky. I think I'm giving up on accents. I'm juggling too many. Also, I don't... Yeah, they're all blending. Russian, German, French. They're all blending together in my head. I give up. I give up! Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gods testified. A green balloon did indeed explode that day. Eh? If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! No! The balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience, how awful! Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
Objection!
The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to the location occupied by a balloon. Now they're saying they telefragged the balloon? An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing but the pertinent facts. Hold it! This I cannot accept! Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar! That person's died in a balloon incident! There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it! Balthazar Loon is not a liar! There was no such balloon in the sky! It is non-possibly! You're saying it's impossible. Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Hey!
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon. There's clearly more to the truth here of this yard. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon affair. With this, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition. Ah. Grazie, my lord. Mr. Loon's balloons. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up dead old clock was found at the scene, can ya? Coppers at the yard reckon there was probably some debris thrown from the explosion at the stage. This stupid ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. So it's a different balloon then? See, exactamente. If we even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war. Anyway, can I have another? What happened to all out war? The saloon certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory. The defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements. The court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Hold it!
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Signor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grande and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have to report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons. Surely Mr. Stroud could have been sent for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. Easy kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he had to go himself in that case. Oh, Lestrade, you rascal.
Hold it!
It would be quite a catastrophe if it fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And a balloon flies because it flies. What else? That must be Italian for I don't know. Wait. Is he he's Italiano, not he's Italiano, not French. Never mind. We're getting all well, just as well our accents are getting mixed up anyway. So basically I should have been doing Mario's voice for him this whole time. Oh no. There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See? And my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen. Lighter than air, but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas is not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, Signor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosioning. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day, but none of them were damaged. But what was the one that exploded?
Hold it!
I was surprised to find a piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff off the ground, me. Always works out way better diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish in the floor. Thing is, though, the cage from crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating is going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Huh, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? But you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one! I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it. There was talk of some scorching on the ground immediately at about the investigation. The coppers of the yard reckon it was probably some debris thrown in the explosion.
Hold it!
There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the callers what were watching the experiment were caught in the glass of injury. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was a great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have this torn piece of the envelope on what they used. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Oh no. Is Gregson going to end up getting a pay cut as well? Like me swiping all his bitten chips, eh? And so pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente.
Hold it!
You mean the color is wrong? Si, signor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and is unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. We couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some early days, unfortunately, as I'm sure you'd agree. See, exactamente. As the signor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken for what he saw. He's very angry.
Excuse me!
He's angry. Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottreich Sigmund Ornstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Ja! Something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence! What is evidence? The photograph, for instance, the judge of people what you claim. Then why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here. Good gracious! What? I had not been up in balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon, and the instantaneous Prometheus experiment. We should take a picture of that. Ja, one picture. Really, I did take one. But all I wanted was to ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boarding experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. This photo is black and white! There, I see you're all too shocked to speak. Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but... But that is not my fault! This is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera! Ah! He cries with umlauts. That is one very bohemian sounding cry. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Oh well. Let's scour it for clues anyway. Why is there a laser beam? Who's shooting lasers at that balloon? Is that even the dude? I guess it has to be. Is that even the dude? Why is someone shooting a laser beam at this? I mean, I'm guessing it's probably the crossbow, but it's glowing, man. I didn't know they had tactical laser systems back in the early 1900s. Truly ahead of their time, this science fair. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take the photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means the photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you picked up. As I thought, the saloon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon, but the saloon vehemently denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Do I need to press another statement?
Hold it!
I don't see a good statement to use the photo on that, so... Is the contradiction that this balloon doesn't have passengers in them? All three of his balloons were carrying passengers. They fell to the ground and explosion was a catastrophe. Ergo, this is a fourth balloon because it has no passengers in it. Right? That's the argument?
Objection!
It is. Okay. Unfortunately, the photograph must have got to can't tell us the color of the balloon. But it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Oh, I got this right. The showing of the balloons would have carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So, when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing. Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. There are illegal tradesmen everywhere who care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing. See! The competition is trying to steal my profits! I did not notice, because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage. His fourth balloon exploded at the very moment Mr. Asimov beamed from the stage below. Right. So them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't cover the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one, operated by some rogue trader. Clearly has nothing to do with the case. The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more that we can learn from it? There's more! Laser beams! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gods may well be hiding one more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue.
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now. Tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? We can reasonably assume that a pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Ja! That's right! Ja! It was not my fault! Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. What? This photograph requires closer examination. Because of the defense, they will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court. Of course, my lord. Does no one else see the laser beam? If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is... the laser beam!
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. If you look with it with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of the bright line really is. Undeniably some flash of light, yes. Oh godly, do you think it might be lightning? But it couldn't have been a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon. Like an arrow. No, it was amazing eyes and appeared to be a flame of some sort. Oh, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas to the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen. What evidence? If such evidence exists, sir, then for goodness sake, present it, man. What evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon? I present to you the tactical laser system.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene. Oh Lord, is that a tactical laser system? A laser dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming laser straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that laser was used deliberately Blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks just like a laser, doesn't it? That the explosion of the balloon, it was very likely the result of a laser from this tactical laser system igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No. Wait, he randomly has a green one now. Gotcha, this is shooter position. If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Oh yeah? If someone had shot a gun over in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic. But if the big explosion in, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, by the balloon's friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute! What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or... what? This is weird. Now I understand. That's what the sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. What? There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators from the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described here is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Hey. Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What he described as no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic. I can't believe, even in the 1900s, we cannot escape troop grammary! Next you tell me that the birdcage spawned out of a pair of magic panties. Both Mr. Sholmes and Ari said the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Rasmus, and having this other man appear on stage in front of the show. As a body double. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Assen must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
The balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered in 4 winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture. Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas very much depend on the mixture ratio. Wow. Dang, we were really lucky that our jury contains both a stage magician and a scientist. Jury number 4. Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio. Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred. Goodness me. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Aspen, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time. This would be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Ziggs can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. Hold it! That's probably the professor. He's got something to say. Yep. Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor. But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry. What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained? I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Rhodey Asman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. He's trying to do... Let me guess, he's fake confessing because he really doesn't want the machine to fall into their hands. What? What are you doing? Defendant, explain this in the confession.
Objection!
Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it! It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you just let me, I can prove... Baroque! Yes? I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please. Ensure the special dispensation for scientific equipment act is adhered to and protect my creation! Yeah, this is probably a good reminder to hydrate myself. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in light of the accused's confession. You intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick, because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution would then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved. At the expense of his life? Very confused. Where's the best official position of this matter? What Professor Harebrained, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but seem condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust. You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind? Mr. Naruhodo, there's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact Interesting choice we have to make here. Well, I have a legal obligation to seek out the truth as well, and all signs point to it being fake. I don't think he's in on it. You know, I don't think he's in on it. I think the plans were modified without his knowledge, probably by Odie Aspen. But that leaves us with what is essentially a conjuring trick. So we're asserting the truth of the matter. Ah! No, I can't say it. My client places faith in me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's, what can I protect? Oh! Hey! Susato-san. You just showed up out of nowhere. What, did you just run into the Old Bailey? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susato-san! But what are you... Ah! Ah! My first Susato takedown in 6 months. There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I had to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Harebreen. Yes. Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Aspen. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. Ah! Bottle flame. Ah! So, you finally open your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Baroque. Lord Van Zeeks. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow. Professor! Did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Tall. Taller than me. And thin. Thinner than me. With straight hair. Straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me too. A monocle. A rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention. What? He built the machine. That's right. Mr. Aspen introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber. Does his name mean something? Does his name mean something? What was the Jersey Fluster? Not to name any scientist wishes to hear. That man's abomination. Not to name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk about a flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grants money. When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand techniques. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster. That's Enoch Drebber for you. Dun dun dun. So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion. Considering what we just heard about Mr. Trevor's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume. I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I've worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Yeah. No plans, no prototype, no backup. Yes, please go ahead. Very sorry. Well, at least we can declare him not guilty, right? Like, right now. Right? I mean, there's no way he was on the stage, so he couldn't have done it. My lord. The court has legally been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical. Yes, Mr. Trevor. Get information about the man. If possible, this is a service subpoena. With pleasure, my lord. It's not fully off the hook at the mystery solved. True, he would be there's still a possibility that he's accomplice. Like, from a legal standpoint. Fair enough. Yes, my lord. We're convened to be looking for one thing, and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused. I understand. Good. In that case, this court is adjourned till tomorrow morning. Interesting. We didn't have a... The jury didn't hand down a verdict either. They actually held off on that until now. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor, about what Mr. Drebber was really up to? About what he was really constructing? Naturally. The machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright, in that case, I won't say anymore. Now, sadly the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. So sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Runo, so it will be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised though, right? Especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future. Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh, having you in my side and court gives me the strength I need to win. So, delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all that conversation for when we're back home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait. Wait, is he along for the ride? I wonder. Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. I wonder if Mikotoba went with her. Like, what if you're both in London? He was in London to study at one point, right? So maybe he came along again. Because I don't know if we'll be going back to Japan anytime soon. It looks like we're staying in Britain for the most part. So if he's going to make another appearance, then I'm guessing he will. Sky for the Forest Symposium. Oh yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense as to why he's in town. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll get to see him. Cool. Alright, chat. That was a lot of fun. Next time we come back, we're gonna do some more investigating. And apparently, lots of lore is gonna be dropping in the next part. So stay tuned for that. Don't miss it. And I'll see you guys around soon. Peace.